Hey friends, welcome to Reader's Workshop with Miss Bryn. This week you will need this worksheet and a pencil. If you don't want to use the worksheet and you just have a piece of paper at home, that's totally cool too. You'll notice in Google Classroom there's two worksheets, one that looks like this and one that has lines. The one that has lines are for people who would like to write their worksheet. This one is to draw pictures. So you could draw pictures or you can write for this week's Reader's Workshop job. Um, we when we left school, we were working on decoding strategies. So you guys became experts at how to read the words in the book. Well, now that you guys are experts at reading words, it's time to focus on understanding the parts of the book. So good readers must understand the books that they read. And the best way to start to understand what you're reading is to put it into parts, is to understand what part was the beginning, what part was the middle, and what part was the end. So that's why we're going to be using these worksheets that you see here so that you can show that you understand the book that you read. If you want to take a look here, when we describe the beginning, middle, and end, the beginning, we want to talk about the characters. Who is in the story? Who are the animals? Who are the people that were in the story? And the setting. You're going to ask yourself, where is this story taking place? So in the beginning part of your worksheets, you're going to write who the characters are and what the setting of the story was. For the middle, you want to think about what happens to the characters. So what was the adventure that they took? What was the problem that happened to them that they now have to try to solve? Things that happen to the characters, that's the juicy part of the story, and that happens in the middle. Now, the end is how the problem gets solved, or where does the adventure end? What did the characters learn, or how did the characters change? So sometimes in stories, you'll see that there was a problem in the middle and it gets solved at the end, or the characters change from the beginning to the end. You're going to see a good example of that in the book that we read in this video together. Down here, it just says that good readers pay attention to different parts of the story so that you can understand your books that you read. What we're going to do now, let me see, is we're going to read a book together, and then I'm going to show you what I mean about filling out the beginning, middle, and end. So remember, when you're thinking about the beginning of the book, you want to find the characters and where the story takes place. This book is called Andrew and the Birthday Surprise, The Boy Who Cried Wolf Remixed. Andrew was bored. It was a sunny day and he wanted to play outside, but his sisters had a plan. It was their mother's birthday and they were baking her favorite cookies. They wanted to surprise her. Andrew, your job is to guard the door, Maggie said. If Mom comes home, yell the code word wolf. Then I'll send Martha to distract Mom while I finish the cookies. So Andrew stood in the doorway and watched for Mom. Okay, guys, so the beginning of the story, I want you right now to say the characters, and don't just tell me the boy and the girls or the brother and the sisters. Use their names because they say their names. I would like for you to use their names. Okay. Give yourself a pat on the back if you said Andrew, Maggie, Martha. They're the three characters in this story. Now I want you to think about the setting. The beginning of the story is the characters and the setting. Where does this story take place? You're right, their house. So they're at home. Or you could even be more specific and say the kitchen, because that's where they're making the cookies. Maggie and Martha got to work baking cookies. Andrew grew more bored. Suddenly, he got an idea. Woof, woof, he shouted. His mother was not home yet, but he thought he could fool his sisters. Martha came running out of the kitchen. She stopped and looked around. Mom was nowhere to be seen. It was only Andrew laughing at her. Andrew, that is not funny, Martha scolded him. You shouldn't lie. Then she turned and went back to the kitchen. Andrew could hear his friends playing and shouting outside. He was still bored, so he shouted again, "Wolf, wolf!" What do you guys think is going to happen? This time, Maggie came running. Maggie looked around for Mom, but she wasn't there. "Fooled you!" Andrew laughed. Maggie was angry. "Andrew," she said, "stop lying. Please shout only if Mom is coming." It sounds like Maggie is feeling frustrated with Andrew. Now, this is think about what's happening to the characters. What are the characters doing? What's happening? This is the middle part. This is the juicy part where we're starting to see something happen to the characters. Moments later, Andrew's mother came home. She walked into the house with a bag of groceries. Andrew tried to stop her. "Wolf! Wolf!" he shouted. "Wolf!" But this time, his sisters didn't come. Why do you guys think that is? Why didn't his sisters come this time? Andrew's mother was confused. "What?" she asked. "Why are you shouting?" "Mom, wait!" Andrew said. "Wolf!" He tried yelling one more time, but his mom walked right into the kitchen. There, Maggie and Martha stood. "I'm sure he's lying again," Maggie said to Martha. "Let's just finish up." Then the girls looked up and saw their mother. "Andrew!" they shouted. "You ruined our surprise for Mom." "You were baking cookies for me?" Mom asked. Andrew felt terrible. If he hadn't lied so many times, the code word would have worked. His lies had ruined the surprise. Okay, so kind of a sad ending because Andrew felt terrible, but I just thought that this was a good example for us to discuss how the characters change at the end. So right here, let me get it in present mode. Right here, I put the B, the M, and the E. So if you guys don't have the worksheets, you can just do this on a piece of paper. Like you could just write B and then put what happened in the beginning. So remember, when you're thinking about the beginning, you're going to say the characters and the setting. So the characters of this story were Maggie, Martha, and Andrew. They were at home. It was Mom's birthday, and she was not home. Andrew was the lookout for Mom. Okay, make sure that you're not writing too much. You don't have to write every single detail. In the middle, what happened to the characters? So what was Andrew doing to his sisters? What was happening? Andrew tricked his sisters. They came running out. He thought it was funny and he was laughing. At the end of the story, Andrew changed. He didn't think it was funny anymore because the surprise was ruined for Mom, for her birthday surprise. So I put when Mom really came, they didn't come help him. Andrew felt terrible about lying. Okay, so at the end, you kind of want to say whatever happened to the characters, how did that end? Make sure you talk about how the characters were feeling or maybe something that they learned. Give me a thumbs up if you think Andrew learned his lesson about lying. I agree. I think he learned his lesson because his face was sad at the end in the pictures, and it said that he felt terrible. Okay. So these are the worksheets that you're going to use this week for Reader's Workshop. You guys can sign into Epic and read those books, or you can do Raz Kids books. But what I want you to do is either draw the different parts to show understanding, or I want you to write the beginning, middle, and end. Okay, so if you just have a piece of paper, that's totally fine. If you would like to use the Google Classroom worksheets, they are on here. You can draw or write. I would like for you guys to fill out 2 this week by Friday. Fill out 2. And I just want to bring this back up so that you remember what to ask yourself. So it's a good idea to probably pause this video here and keep this up while you're reading your books, or it's in Google Classroom too, so you can pull it up there. The beginning, you want to say who the characters are and what is the setting. The middle, you want to think about what happens to the characters. What is the problem? What's the adventure? And at the end, you want to talk about how the characters change, or what they learned, what they learned, like what lesson. Um, this will help you guys understand your books a lot better. Make sure as you're reading your books so that you can understand, go back and reread. That's a really good strategy for you, especially if you have to go back to the beginning and see who the characters were or what the setting was. That's totally a good strategy to use. Reread the parts to make sure that you understand, because now we're shifting gears. You guys are experts at reading words, but now you have to show that you understand the parts of the books. If you have any questions, please reach out on Google Classroom, or you can tell your parents to text me, or text me on Remind. I hope that you all stay safe and stay healthy. Make sure you're staying positive. We're all in this together, and I'll talk to you guys soon.